How the heck are you? Happy Thursday, 21st day of May, 2020. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us. I'm feeling good because it's the 21st day of the month. And for those of you who've been watching this show for any length of time, you know on the 21st of every month, regardless of what day of the week it is my shower day. So I showered today. I'm sure my coworkers are happy about that. You ready for some more wind? We're going to have another windy day today. Going to have another windy night tonight. A little bit of wind on Friday before we finally calm down. It's a strange weather pattern. The atmosphere is still really unstable, but the systems that are causing some rain in far eastern Washington and some wind here in central Washington, it's just kind of just sitting there. It's not going anywhere. It will by the time we get to the weekend, though, but we're going to have to put up with another day and a half or so of some pretty windy conditions. We'll run you through how yesterday's weather panned out statistically wise here in just a couple of minutes when we take our tour around the valley. Everything else you need to get to, there's a lot of news. There's quite a bit of sports. Seahawks still in the news. What are the Cougars and the Huskies going to do come autumn for football? Fans or no fans? Don't know yet. And in the back half of the hour, it's another conversation with Casey Leigh. Casey joined us about a month ago. She came up with this really cool brainstorm called the Share a Meal program. She got various restaurants to hop on board and then a couple of local nonprofits to distribute the food. It's gotten some really good reviews. This is something you might want to get involved in, and this is a very informative conversation. And it's all good news with Casey because she's got more restaurants involved in the Share a Meal program. We're going to get an update from Casey Leigh in the back half of the program. It's a conversation you do not want to miss. Before we go into the cameras in the valley, one quick note. The monitor in my studio isn't working, so I have no idea what we're going to be looking at here for the next, until we get to the next commercial break. I can't see the cameras, so Megan, you'll have to, I'm sure we're looking at the cross camera right now. Is that correct, Megan? Yeah, cameras around the valley. Again, my monitor is not on here in the studio. It's live TV, what do you do? That is the cross camera. We had some wind yesterday. The highest wind speed right around 4 o'clock was about 40 miles an hour. The wind was very consistent out of the west-northwest at right around 30 to 35 miles an hour for most of the day yesterday, especially in the afternoon. But we did have some wind speeds at 40 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And at Pangbourne, where they measure these things at, we had a gust at one point of 52 miles an hour up at Pangbourne Memorial Airport. And that was right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was some very strange weather. We didn't get any rain at all, but they had record rain in Spokane, Lewiston, and Pullman. And those cities are not too far away from us, really. Spokane got 1.5 inches of rain yesterday. That was a record breaker for them. Lewiston got 1 inch. Pullman got 1.25 inches. We got nothing. Very strange weather indeed. But the weekend, by the way, looks good once we get there. Again, details are coming up. All right, Megan, we're off to camera 2. And again, you're going to have to tell me what we're looking at. Oh, okay, that's not a bad idea. I'm going to plug in the monitor while you look at the beautiful cashmere. I'm assuming maybe it's Apple Annie's. Okay, I'm getting up now. Hold tight. I'll be right back. I think the monitor accidentally got unplugged. I'll just keep talking over here while I try and plug the monitor in. Let's see here. Hold tight. I'm almost there, folks. Bear with me. It's live TV. Okay, I'm turning the monitor on. It has almost there. Yep, power's plugged in. There we go. All right. Almost there, Megan. Almost there. Hold tight. Dan has this putt to win the Masters Championship. I got real close to the microphone there. Okay, I'm back. Oh, you work without a net. Hi, Cashmere. Good to see you. Apple Annie's camera and our friends in Cashmere. I'll be visiting Cashmere here either today or tomorrow. I got some business up in Cashmere to take care of, and I'll swing by the old Goodwin Bridge and see what's going on with that construction project. Camera number 3, where are we off to now that I can see? It's Billy Goat. Hi, Billy Goat, how are you? Alta Lake is in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. The campground, which I don't know if that's public or private. Don't know if you can camp there this weekend. I have to find out. The Alta Lake Golf Course is down there. I know you can play golf. Beautiful view. Pateros is in your view. Brewster way off in the distance. I'll be heading up to Gamble Sands in the not-too-distant future to play that outstanding golf course. And a gorgeous view from up in the Okanagan area. Good stuff. That's still my favorite camera. I cannot get over that view. And I have no idea how those Sky-Fi techs get to that camera, but it must be quite an adventure. Camera 4. It's a slow dissolve to, wow, I'm thinking maybe Cole's Corner. That's Valley High, but they move the camera. Normally, when we use the Valley High camera, you can see a little sliver of Blewett Pass, but you can't today. Great view, though. That's really nice. I'm sorry, Megan. It's zoomed in. Okay, so it is the same angle. It's just zoomed in a little bit. Beautiful view from our friends up in the Valley High area, and that's our tour around north central Washington at 6 minutes after the hour. Once again, it's going to be a nice weekend. I wanted to throw this slide up there one more time. Updated from the National Weather Service. It's going to be dry for the most part. Temperatures are going to be mild. It's going to be fairly cloudy on Sunday, but we have no real rain in the forecast. If you have a 3-day weekend, the best days are actually going to be Saturday and Memorial Day proper if you like the sunshine, even though it's going to be very mild on Sunday. The sun will be taking the day off. The only chance of any kind of measurable rain for you outdoor enthusiasts are going to be up along the mountains in the lee of the Cascades, so the east slopes of the Cascades, maybe up in the Anaad area. They could get a little bit of light rain up there. We are not going to get any rain at all here in the Wenatchee Valley. In fact, it looks all in all pretty darn pleasant once we get there. We got to get there, and we're not there yet. Once again, the story today is going to be the wind. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug. Let's take a look at your forecast. And once again, going to be breezy today. That high of 65 is quite cool. Our normal high for this time of the year, 72. We hit 73 yesterday, so it's going to be a little bit cooler today. And again, it is going to be a little on the windy side. A northwest wind about 16 to 25 miles an hour. Gusts right around the 30 to 35 miles an hour range. Remember, we had that wind advisory yesterday. We don't have one today. It's going to be windy today, but not as windy as it was on Wednesday. Still a little bit of wind tonight, 44 for the overnight low with mostly cloudy skies. Again, breezy tonight, northwest wind about 20 miles an hour, but it will die down in the overnight hours, but we'll still get the rogue gust right around 30 miles an hour overnight tonight. Friday, still a little breezy. We're looking at partly cloudy skies and a high of 67. Again, still cool, but again, a little breezy in the morning. We'll have a west wind about 5 to 10 miles an hour. In the afternoon, it'll pick up a little bit to about 20 miles an hour, gusts around 25 miles an hour on Friday. So still windy today, windy tonight, breezy on Friday. Eventually, Friday night into Saturday, the winds will be calming down. Saturday looks really nice. Lots of sunshine, very little wind, high of about 74 degrees. Get out and enjoy if you can. Practice social distancing, of course. 48 for the overnight low and a mostly clear skies Saturday night. Sunday, though, we're looking at clouds and a high of 77 degrees. Maybe a couple of little sun breaks, but that's really about it. 51 for the overnight low on Sunday. Memorial Day proper, pretty mild, high of 79 under partly cloudy skies. Slight chance of a little bit of light rain. It's so slight we didn't even put it up there for you. And then things look really good for Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be warming up to near 80 on Tuesday and Wednesday with quite a bit of sunshine. Again, the story today, lots of sun, lots of wind, cool temperatures, mixture of clouds and sun Friday with still some wind. Finally, we calm down Friday night, and by Saturday, we're looking good for Memorial Day weekend. All right, that's a look at your weather forecast. It's just about 9 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. We'll come back, and we got a lot of news. Just wanted to let you know about that. So grab a cup of coffee and come back and see us in 1 minute. We'll fill you in with all the information you need to know to start your Thursday. The news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Owner Andrew Vickery brings years of experience to help you transition your backyard into a place where memories are made, family time is looked forward to, and friends are always welcome. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa offers many different styles and sizes of artesian spas, both new and used, as well as residential and commercial pool and spa services, regular maintenance and repairs, and all the chemicals required to keep your pool and spa crystal clear. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today.
At Town Toyota, we believe in our community, and we're proud to support this broadcast of local sports. Town Toyota defines reliability and value in both its products and in the dealership itself. We are home to legendary products like the RAV4, Highlander, and Camry, not to mention Tundras and Tacoma trucks. Of course, we offer service for everything we sell, and a great selection of pre-owned and certified vehicles as well. So enjoy the game and visit Town Toyota for all your automotive needs.
10 minutes after the hour, quite a bit of sunshine, 50 degrees, sunny and windy today. Highs will be in the mid-60s, still a little breezy tonight, a little breezy on Friday, but a fairly pleasant Memorial Day weekend coming our way. Here's what's making news. A Leavenworth man died and another person was injured after a two-car head-on accident. This happened about 1:45 yesterday afternoon at the Big Y interchange near Dryden. According to the Washington State Patrol, 81-year-old Charles Lemons was driving a 2005 Chrysler PT westbound on the Highway 97 overpass when, for unknown reasons, his car crossed the center line and struck a 2016 GMC Sierra that was being driven by 67-year-old Arlen Simon, also of Leavenworth. Lemons was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger in Lemons' car, 79-year-old Catherine Lemons of Leavenworth, was transported to Central Washington Hospital. The extent of her injuries are not known. Now, neither Simon nor the passenger in his truck, that's the truck you see there, 44-year-old Aaron Simon of Leavenworth, were injured. Traffic was detoured for nearly 3 hours. The cause of the accident is under investigation. An East Wenatchee motorist allegedly sped away from Wenatchee police on Tuesday night and rammed a pursuing car. 26-year-old Antonio Banuelos allegedly drove off in an orange Kia about 12:30 in the morning when a police officer tried to stop him in South Wenatchee and headed across the George Seller Bridge. Now, during the chase, he allegedly crashed into a 9th Street guardrail and rammed the pursuing police car with his own car before abandoning his car and disappearing. Well, police located and arrested Banuelos about 24 hours later. They said he left his identification in the car. They plan on seeking charges of fleeing police, reckless driving, and second-degree assault. The body of a homeless man was found inside a vehicle in South Wenatchee on Tuesday morning. Police say his death is not suspicious. Wenatchee Police Captain Edgar Reinfeld said the unidentified 55-year-old man was known to police. His body was found by the owner of the property at South Mission Street and South Wenatchee Avenue, pretty close to the Senator George Seller Bridge. The body of another homeless man was found earlier this month in the Columbia River at the bottom of 9th Street, but Reinfeld said they do not believe the two deaths were connected in any way, nor was either death suspicious.
We respond to these calls every year, and they're not in the middle of winter all that often. That happens occasionally. That's the obvious thing. People would think about, boy, the middle of winter is going to be really hard for people living outside, living rough. But it happens all throughout the year. These two are close together in time, but there's nothing to indicate, again, anything suspicious or any foul play or either of them. If there was, then we would have to be looking at it a lot differently. But we're awaiting at this point information from the coroner to determine what happened here, and we'll go from there.
Pier 1 stores nationwide will close as the company dissolves into bankruptcy, and that does include the Wenatchee location that you see here at Valley North Mall. The company announced Wednesday all 540 of its shops will shut their doors once a bankruptcy judge approves the strategy. The corporation says the coronavirus pandemic contributed to its problems, making it unable to find a buyer. The shutdown could be completed by summer. The owner of a venerable Wenatchee restaurant says he's going to reopen on May 27th. Coronavirus be damned. Kevin Smith is the owner of the Windmill, and he's owned it for the last 8 years, and he tells us he's going to be serving next Wednesday despite state orders closing restaurants as non-essential businesses. His reopening comes just 4 days before those health orders are set to expire, unless, of course, they are extended. Smith says his bills are still piling up despite no income, and he'll have just 8 tables at a time, and they're going to be spread out for social distancing. The Chelan Douglas Health District did not respond to a request from us for comment on the Windmill's reopening plan. A Kashmir man in prison for recruiting a fellow inmate to burglarize his estranged wife's home. He can't withdraw his guilty plea. That's the ruling this week from the State Court of Appeals, which says Don Philip Stentz has no basis to overturn his 2019 agreement. While jailed in Chelan County in 2018, Stentz instructed a fellow inmate to burglarize his wife's home as part of a continued pattern of harassment. The burglar was arrested with Stentz's detailed notes and a map to the house. Stentz is now serving 7 years in prison for masterminding the burglary and for violating a no-contact order. Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue is going to have a new chief come June 2nd. Mick Lamar, who's head of the rural department since 2012, he says he's going to retire and turn the reins over to current assistant chief Dave Walker. In his time as chief, Lamar reduced emergency response times while at the same time coping with persistent wildfire threats. He's also led the acquisition of property for a planned new fire district headquarters and training facility just outside of Plain. Well, it turns out there won't be a race in November for a seat on the Douglas County PUD Commission. It was found out that one of the candidates who filed last week lives outside the boundaries for the District 2 seat. Rock Island Mayor Randy Agnew had filed to challenge incumbent Commissioner Molly Simpson, but Rock Island falls within PUD District 3. Chelan County Auditor Thad Duvall, who said he has notified Agnew, said confusion may have come from county commissioner districts. Rock Island is in District 2 for that commission. And finally, heads up for your morning commute. Columbia Street from 1st Street to 2nd Street in Wenatchee is closed. They closed it at 5 o'clock this morning. It's going to remain closed until 12 noon today. Chelan County Public Works says the sidewalk in that area will also be closed. A reminder, too, that work is continuing on Stella Avenue between McKittrick and Walnut here in Wenatchee with 1 lane of traffic control. Flaggers in the work zone. That project continues through Friday between 7 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. And that's a look at what's making headlines at 16 minutes after the hour on this Thursday. Grant and Eric and Uriah and Jefferson and Tucker and the whole crew still putting together a newscast, some at home, some here. We'll have news for you tonight with a preview. Here's Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, strong winds down to tree and power lines on Lake Wenatchee Highway yesterday morning. That knocked out power to about 260 Chelan PUD customers and forced closure of the highway for most of yesterday. I'll have your cooler and still breezy North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will take a look at all the day's sports news. That and much more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. And don't forget, you can watch the news at your own leisure if you want. We have our news posted on our website at ncwlife.com right around 5 o'clock in the evening. So if you want to watch it on your smart device or you want to watch it at 11:30 at night, you can watch it at 11:30 at night. Just go to our website at ncwlife.com. You can use our website as a tool for you to get a hold of us. There's a contact us icon at the top of the screen. You can either submit a news tip or just drop us a line. You can email us directly, news at ncwlife.com, news at ncwlife.com, or go to our Facebook page and drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. We're going to take a break and come back with sports. Seahawks might be looking for more running backs. We'll talk about that in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett, and I urge all of you to stay home, stay healthy, and stay safe. Governor Inslee has asked all Washingtonians to stay home. That's the only way we're going to successfully fight the coronavirus. Uniformed officers won't ticket you, fine you, or arrest you for being on the roads. We want to educate you. You can help our community and the already thinly stretched healthcare professionals by staying home. I know that this community will do all it can to help get us through this pandemic. Thank you, and be well.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging in Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation. 19 minutes after the hour. Sports. Apparently, the injury recoveries for both Chris Carson and Rashad Penny are not going how the Seahawks would like. And to that end, the Seahawks popped up in a couple of rumors yesterday that they're shopping for some running back help. Now, this is according to Mike Silver of the NFL Network. The Seahawks have spoken to former Houston Texans running back Carlos Hyde during the offseason. Hyde is coming off one of the best of his 6-year career last year. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. Scored 6 touchdowns. Seattle also reportedly spoke to former Atlanta Falcons running back Devonta Freeman. And of course, there's always a Marshawn Lynch in the discussion. Seahawks looking obviously for added depth in the backfield. Chris Carson is expected to be ready for the start of the season, but he's coming off a non-displaced fracture hip. And Rashad Penny is not expected to be ready as he works to come back from a torn ACL. Coach Pete Carroll has done his best to keep the virtual team meetings as interesting as he possibly can. Yesterday was no exception. Of course, the sports world is abuzz about the Michael Jordan documentary called The Last Dance. And so Coach Carroll reached out to a friend to get the inside scoop.
So that's probably all that we could have ever learned from watching Last Dance. We had trivia questions. No, that's not right.
Oh!
No, we have a guest appearance today. Guest appearance coming into us from Southern California. Put him on the screen. Coach Steve Kerr. Here we go. How about that, fellas?
Let's go. That's not Popovich.
Quarantine cut, baby.
What's up, Steve?
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so Steve, everybody wants to know that in the fifth championship in Game 6, did you really call it? You tell Michael that you wanted to take that shot, or was that little stuff we saw on the side? Was that real? Was it your call or was it his call?
Well, it was obviously his call, but no, he told me he kind of predicted the play, Pete, because he knew what was coming. He was so smart. He always kind of pictured the play in his head and then kind of thought about it. So he just turned to me and he said, "Hey, I think Stockton's going to double team, so be ready." So
that's pretty cool. Now you were jacked for taking the shot too, weren't you?
I kind of lied and told him I was going to make it. I had no idea if I was going to make it.
Way to be discreet.
Hey, Steve, when in all those times, all the practices you had, was he always as tough a guy to practice against competitively as it was portrayed?
He was incredible to compete against in practice. He set a bar that I've never seen anybody set in terms of the level of competition every day. And I don't know if it's similar in football, Pete, but we used to scrimmage a lot more 20, 25 years ago than we do now. I think we've gotten smarter now to save the players' bodies a little bit. The NBA has gotten smarter about the way they schedule games. But back then we used to scrimmage in almost every practice, and he treated it like it was a playoff game. You know, winning and competing mattered so much to the guy. And I think it really kind of set a standard for our whole team every day.
Steve Kerr and Pete Carroll, they've been buddies for quite some time. In fact, it goes back to when Carroll invited Coach Kerr to attend Seahawks practices and meetings. This was shortly after he'd launched his coaching career with the Golden State Warriors. The two have recently launched a podcast called Flying Coach. Nice little pun on words. You can watch the podcast at Seahawks.com. The two major colleges in our state trying to figure out what they're going to do this fall season with the possibility of no fans on the field. For Washington State, that means an empty Martin Stadium. Martin Stadium seats just short of 33,000 fans. And also Husky Stadium with a capacity of over 70,000. UW Athletic Director Jen Cohen says they're bracing for a dip of nearly $4.4 million in gate revenue. Wazoo AD Pat Chun says the only certainty is, quote, that there's going to be an impact, end quote. Surveys nationwide show the majority of fans want to be able to return to stadiums and cheer on their teams. The hard part is whether they're going to be allowed to actually do that. Cohen said, and I'm quoting now, "I think the interesting thing about this is that it can potentially vary based on the state that you're living in," end quote. The U.S. will be following the lead of pro sports, now beginning competition in Europe and Asia. They play, of course, right now. They're playing soccer and other sports without fans, and they're slowly going to allow fans in with a number of limitations. For one thing's for sure, if there's a college football season, it's going to be unlike any other college football we've seen before. And finally, coming up on the NCAA Life sports schedule, it's great games of our past. Game 5 of the Dole Cup Championship is tonight. Well, it's not tonight. The broadcast is tonight. The game is from May of 2 years ago. So we got Wenatchee and Spruce Grove. Our checker with the call, 7 o'clock tonight. And the schedule for the rest of the weekend, starting tomorrow night with the Apple Sox and the Yakima Valley Pippins from last August. Saturday is an Eastmont versus West Valley doubleheader. We got wrestling at 2 o'clock and football at 6:30 on Sunday, in deference to Sue and Mark Neal. Still love that pizza. We have 2 Wenatchee Wild hockey games against Merritt from last November 1st and 2nd, the first at 2 o'clock and the final at 7 o'clock. And that's a look at sports on this Thursday morning. 24 minutes after the hour, I had 4 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Memo Day. I better write that down. National Memo Day. Make a note of that. Today is National Strawberries and Cream Day. Today is National Waitstaff Day, and that's the one we want to talk about today because very few professions have been hit harder during this coronavirus pandemic than the people who would bring you your food at your fine eating establishment. Of course, having a good waiter or waitress makes the dining out experience that much more pleasurable, but right now they're hurting. But I did some research on various websites. How many eating and drinking establishments are there in this country anyway? About 553,000 of them. And we spend about $50 billion a year eating out at restaurants that have waiters and waitresses. Approximately 684,485 waiters work full-time, 1,559,840 waitresses. So basically 7 out of every 10 people who are a member of a wait staff are women. They have to, and of course there's all kinds of challenges with wait staffs. You have to deal with separate checks, making sure you know what the establishment specials are, making sure the orders are accurate, that the people are taken care of. National Wait Staff Day. I can't wait for you folks to be back to work because I like to eat out a lot and I miss my eating out at my favorite establishments and visiting with my favorite waiters and waitresses. Hang in there. We're with you on this one. And I'll be notoriously over tipping like I always do. Today in history, it's the 21st day of May. Lindy did it on this date. 93 years ago today, May 21st, 1927, Charles Lindbergh touched down at Le Bourget Field just outside of Gay Paris, completing his flight across the Atlantic Ocean. One of the great myths of Charles Lindbergh is that he was the first person to ever fly across the Atlantic Ocean. He was not. He was the 82nd person ever to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. He wasn't even the first solo person to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Somebody had already beat him to that. That person was flying a float plane. It would fly as long as it could, then would land in the Atlantic Ocean, and the ship would put more gas, and it would fly, and then it would land, and then more gas, and eventually flew across the Atlantic Ocean. He was the first nonstop solo flight across the Atlantic, and that is what captured the nation's attention. And he landed on this date 93 years ago today. He flew, it took about 33 hours to fly from Roosevelt Field in New York City to Paris. He was probably really tired. One of the greatest albums of all time hit record stores on this day back in 1971, 49 years ago today. It's a landmark recording in music history. The classic album, What's Going On, by Marvin Gaye, hit record stores. I know this sounds silly, I have 4 copies of What's Going On, 1 on CD and 3 on album. I prefer to consume my music in an album format. I listen to the entire album from beginning to end, song 1 on side 1 to the last song on side 2, and What's Going On is one of those records that just soaks you in. I've listened to that album probably 200-300 times in my life. I hear something new in it every time. What's going on? If you don't have a copy, get one. Get 2, in case one breaks. It hit record stores 49 years ago today. The last Johnny Carson hosted show with guests aired on this date, May 21st, 1992. It was a Thursday night, so it was 28 years ago today. Johnny Carson hosted the final episode of The Tonight Show with guests. His guests, of course, were Bette Miller and Robin Williams. The last Tonight Show with Johnny Carson aired the next night, Friday night, but there were no guests. It was just Johnny showing clips of previous shows, so you can really consider this one the last Tonight Show with a traditional format, with a monologue and guests 28 years ago today. And it was all over 3 years ago today. There it is. That's the photo of the very last performance of the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Long Island, New York. After 146 years, it was their final show, and they shut down. They were in trouble to begin with. Circuses were already on the way out. Unfortunately, they had quit the use of elephants a number of years before. They were under all kinds of pressure from all kinds of animal rights groups, and it was also just a bad economic time for them. It all came to an end after 146 years. The last Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus performance on this date 3 years ago today. And finally, let's do some celebrity birthdays. We all know him as Perry Mason. Raymond Burr was born 103 years ago, back in 1917, died in 1993 at the age of 76. He auditioned when they decided to take the Perry Mason book of series of books and turn them into a television show back in 1956. Raymond Burr actually auditioned for the role of attorney Hamilton Berger, the district attorney, Perry Mason's antagonist in the great Perry Mason shows, and he auditioned for Hamilton Berger. And the producer said, actually, we think you might be better as Perry Mason, but Raymond, you're too fat. You got to lose about 60 pounds. So over the next month, he went on a crash diet, came back 60 pounds lighter, auditioned, and got the role. And after Raymond Burr died in 1993, it was revealed that his autobiography was pretty much made out of whole cloth. But He was pretty good. And who's kidding who? I loved watching Perry Mason growing up. Raymond Burr, born in the state of 1917. Love Bobby Cox. Love Bobby Cox. He's a great baseball manager. It's sad that he only won one World Series with the Atlanta Braves back in 1995. But he managed 4,508 games. He won 2,504 of them. That's fourth all time on the managerial list. He won 5 pennants. He won a World Series. He was a 4-time Manager of the Year. Inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame with the class of 2014. We want to wish Bobby Cox a happy 79th birthday today and good health to Bobby. And Mr. T, I pity the fool who won't celebrate Mr. T's 68th birthday today. This guy had a terrible childhood. He had 12 siblings. There were 13 of them. They grew up dirt poor in a housing project in Chicago, Illinois. He was surrounded by, he witnessed growing up rape and murder and crimes and robberies, but he attributed his survival and his eventual success to the love and tightness of his mother and his father and his family, and he made a big name for himself. Mr. T is 68 years old. We are going to take a break. Mike McNulty has got an opinion, and then we're going to check in once again with Casey Leigh. We all got to meet Casey about a month ago. She came up with a brainstorm when this pandemic began to really take hold. It's called the Share a Meal Program, and she's going to give us an update via Skype. Casey Leigh on the way. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
File Boats and Motors is open for parts and service. Please phone ahead at 884-3558. Sales by appointment only. In these times, be assured Steinberg Law Firm is here to help. Essential services like personal injury, bankruptcy, or estate planning are available by phone or video conference. Call today for more information. At Ready Medi, they have the exit strategy. They've started COVID-19 antibody serum testing. Call 888-6334 for more details and to reserve a kit for you.
You want to help others. You need a solid career. You can have both with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, stop by our campus at 595 Grant Road across from Safeway or visit chartercollege.edu.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNulty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, one of the many suggestions being kicked around to deter school shootings is improved mental health services. Well, I agree with that concept. that better identification of potential shooting perpetrators and the application of directed and subjective services to such individuals is definitely a step in the right direction. However, as with all suggestions to deter school shootings, better mental health services is a limited answer, as mental health counseling is only effective if the individual receiving the services wants to be helped. The old joke comes to mind. How many counselors does it take to change somebody? Or how does to change a light bulb is what I mean. Well, only one, but the light bulb has to want to be changed. I messed up that joke. Hey, but this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow. We have live bands to rock the night away, comedy to make you laugh, and if that's not enough, we have poker every Monday and Wednesday night. Club Crow in Cashmere has it all. Check out our Facebook event page for dates and times. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Casey Leigh is making her second appearance on this program. She came up with a really cool brainchild, I want to say about a month ago. Casey can correct me if she needs to. It's called the Share a Meal program. It's a win-win situation for a lot of people, for restaurants and for local nonprofits, and for people who want a good quality home-cooked meal every once in a while. We all want that. First of all, Casey, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you as well, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, anytime. And for the uninitiated, just a brief little synopsis of the genesis of the Share a Meal program, how it came to be, and what's it all about, Casey?
Well, it came to be when I had time on my hands because all of my other work had been canceled due to COVID, and I was trying to find a way that we could help out our restaurants, particularly, of course, my favorite ones, as all motivation often starts selfishly, and then also provide food for those who are in need. And I don't know where the idea came from, but it occurred to me that if we could have people buy gift certificates from restaurants, and the restaurants could then accumulate funds within the gift certificates until they would have sufficient funds to be able to provide food for one of the two community groups, which are the Lighthouse Mission, which serves 3 meals a day downtown Wenatchee to the homeless, and Catholic Charities for their homebound senior program. And my husband named it Share a Meal, and so far I'm so excited. It's been a month, and it's working great.
And who's kidding who? For the seniors that were the beneficiaries of Catholic Charities, they got hamburgers from Dizzy D's. It's my favorite hamburger joint. I love that place.
And we have a picture on our website of one of the gentlemen who actually finished his burger before they finished the delivery of all the hamburgers. So that was kind of fun.
So you've reached out to any number of restaurants, as you mentioned, a lot of your favorites and a lot of my favorites. Do you want to give people a quick, I don't know if you have it handy right in front of you, Casey, I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many restaurants are involved and who exactly are they?
Well, right now we have Bob's Classics East and West, so in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, the Depot Cafe downtown, Dilly Deli, Dizzy D's, and our newest is India House, which just came on board on Thursday, San Francisco Sourdough, the East Wenatchee branch, and Sweetwood Barbecue.
And Sweetwood is going to be a guest on this program, we hope, in the not too distant future. The response from the restaurants, when you pitched this idea, were they a little hesitant or were they, Casey, I'm all in?
Interestingly, it was Casey, I'm all in. And some of the restaurateurs I knew because they are at their restaurants and I eat there, and others didn't really know who I was, but just got excited and trusted that it was a good idea. And they've been so amazing ever since. It's just exciting to me.
What's been the response from Catholic Charities and from the Lighthouse?
Well, they're both thrilled. Leah, they've had 3 deliveries so far of meals for their seniors, and for the mission, they've had 2 meals delivered, and they have 2 more coming soon. So it's for them, it's a win-win, and their patrons love having really good restaurant quality food, and it's a nice change for all of us. The reason we like to go out to eat because it's a change from our usual meals.
And we don't have to do dishes and things like that, which nobody likes to do. So you have to work up enough money in the kitty, so to speak, for this to happen, right? That's essentially how it works?
So this has only been successful because of all of the people who have supported the program and have supported the restaurants, who have called in and say, I would like to buy a gift certificate for Share a Meal. And I want to thank all of those people, some of whom I know, most of whom I have no idea who you are, but thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart that you are participating, and it is making a difference.
So are you asking people to contact the participating restaurants directly, mention Share a Meal, and that's how that works?
Yes, they contact them directly. Once the restaurant has sufficient funds, then they contact either Catholic Charities or the Lighthouse Mission and arrange for the food. And I, meanwhile, call everybody up every now and again and see how it's going.
And how is it going?
I'm actually amazed how well it's going. You know, when you have an idea and it's never been done before that you know of within your community, and it's a new arena for me. I have never done any work in this area. You feel like, oh, I hope it's going to work. And this community of Wenatchee is so amazing that it's actually worked beyond what I had initially planned, considering it's only a month old.
Do you anticipate, we're all hoping that we all eventually get back to normal. Restaurants will open at full strength with a full wait staff. We won't have to worry about the 6-foot distancing. We'll be past this pandemic and slowly work ourselves back into what can be as most normal as routine as possible. Do you think this may actually continue past this COVID-19 crisis? You think you may have started something here?
Considering that there are always people who need food, I'm hoping that once things go back to normal, the restaurants will be able to continue participating. We haven't discussed that yet, but that's what I'm hoping will happen. Now you have a website, which you didn't have the last time we talked. Your niece helped you out on that. You always got to go with the younger folks, right, about this sort of stuff. Yes, I needed a 25-year-old to help me establish, and she lives in Pennsylvania, so that was even greater because we could do this whole thing versus FaceTime. She could set it up for me. So go ahead. It's all small letters, shareamealwenatchee.wordpress.com.
And again, it's all one word, shareamealwenatchee.wordpress.com. Takes you right there. You have the list of all of the participating restaurants. And again, all they're asking you to do is contact the restaurant directly and said, I want to buy X amount of dollars in gift certificates. Is it gift certificates or do you just drop by cash? You know, here's $50, Bob, or something like that?
You can do it however you want. You can call in and give them your credit card. You can, sometimes like I'll do it when I go and order something from the restaurant. I'll just add an order to the gift certificate. And you never actually see the gift certificate. The restaurant keeps track in the way that works best for their system. But you have to say it's for a share a meal gift certificate because most restaurants have their own gift certificates as well.
Yes, they do. This is a really cool thing. I'm so glad that this caught on and the restaurants are on board. I love the fact that they said, yes, we're in on this. As you mentioned, it says a lot about the people of the Wenatchee Valley.
Yes, I agree. And another exciting development is I was telling a friend of mine about this in Eugene, Oregon, and she says, I wonder if I could do that here. Can I steal your idea? And I said, sure. So now we have Share a Meal Eugene that is up and running, and they've actually at this point been able to serve one set of meals there. So it doesn't have to stay here. People, if you know others who live in other communities that might want to do it, please encourage them.
And Casey will be more than happy to, if I know you, Casey, to help out with the baby steps and how it gets going. People can contact you directly, or they can contact you through the website too as well, right?
Yes, and I have a cell phone number that's on the website, so they can just text me or call me whenever they would like any more information for whatever reason.
Again, it's Share a Meal Wenatchee, all lowercase, all one word, .wordpress.com. Takes you right there. Thank you to all the restaurants and to all the other restaurants out there who may be thinking about it. You're on notice now. It's working.
And just text me if you'd like to participate, and I'll be happy to add you to the list.
Casey, it's always great to talk to you, and we're going to make arrangements to talk to the good folks at Sweetwood Barbecue, correct?
Sweetwood, yes.
Yeah, which is
bench.
really good.
I mean, bench too.
Casey, every time I talk to you, I get hungry, so I'm gonna go get me a bite to eat. And please stay in touch. Keep me in the loop. The more restaurants that come up on board and become part of the Share a Meal program, let me know, and we'll continue the momentum that you have started so well.
I will. Thank you very much. And when you go to the webpage, if you go to gallery, we're starting to put up pictures. So look for the gallery page within our webpage as well.
Yeah, I saw the picture of Dizzy D's whipping out all those hamburgers. It was like, I loved it. Best hamburgers in town, Dizzy D's, hands down. So.
They're my favorite
You're my favorite as well. Casey, it's always good to talk to you, and please keep in touch, and we'll talk to you really soon, okay?
Great. Thanks so much, Dan. You've been wonderful. I appreciate it.
Anything we can do to help. Again, Casey Leigh from the Share a Meal program. I can't stress this enough. The website, shareamealwenatchee.wordpress.com. Everything you need to know is right there, including the participating restaurants. Thank you to the restaurants. Thank you to the Lighthouse. Thank you to Catholic Charities. And thank you, Casey. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
Take care.
The Meat Shop in Chelan has all the meats, homemade side dishes, sauces, and rubs you need. And after a brief break for a new baby, the Meat Shop will return to regular hours in beautiful downtown Chelan. Deepwater Home Electronics is open on modified hours to serve our community. Verizon phone services, computer repair, installations, and service calls help you stay connected while you are social distancing. Chelan Cellars and Sorrento's Restaurante look forward to seeing you after they're able to open up again. In the meantime, you can share in their award-winning wines by visiting or giving them a call.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
We're back 52 degrees, fairly clear skies, wind out of the west-northwest about 12 miles an hour. It is going to be another windy one today. Not as windy as it was on Wednesday, but certainly breezy, not only today, but tonight and really right on into Friday. We're going to do that forecast in depth here before we close the show out at the top of the hour. But the first thing we wanted to do was repeat our top news stories this morning. We begin with the Leavenworth man who died and another person was injured. This was a two-car head-on accident about 1:45 yesterday afternoon at the Big Y interchange near Dryden. According to the Washington State Patrol, 81-year-old Charles Lemons was driving a 2005 Chrysler PT westbound on Highway 2 on the Highway 97 overpass when, for unknown reasons, his car crossed the center line and struck a 2016 GMC Sierra pickup truck being driven by 67-year-old Arlen Simon, also of Leavenworth. Lemons was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger in Lemons' car, 79-year-old Catherine Lemons of Leavenworth, was transported to Central Washington Hospital. The extent of her injuries not known this morning. Neither Simon nor the passenger in his truck, the truck that you see there, the passenger was 44-year-old Aaron Simon of Leavenworth, so neither of those two people were injured. Traffic was detoured for nearly 3 hours. The cause of the accident is under investigation. An East Wenatchee motorist allegedly sped away from a Wenatchee police officer Tuesday night and then rammed a pursuing squad car. 26-year-old Antonio Banuelos allegedly drove off in an orange Kia about 12:30 in the morning when a police officer tried to stop him in South Wenatchee and headed across the Senator George Seller Bridge. Now, during the chase, he allegedly crashed into a guardrail on 9th Street and then rammed the pursuing car with his own car before abandoning his vehicle and disappearing. But police located and arrested Banuelos about 24 hours later because they say he left his ID in his car. They plan to seek charges of fleeing police, reckless driving, and second-degree assault. And the body of a homeless man that was found inside a vehicle in South Wenatchee Avenue, on South Wenatchee, I should say, on Tuesday morning, but police say his death is not suspicious. Wenatchee Police Captain Edgar Reinfeld said the unidentified 55-year-old man was known to police. His body was found by the owner of the property at South Mission and South Wenatchee Avenue, very close to the Senator George Seller Bridge. The body of another homeless man, of course, was found earlier this month in the Columbia River at the bottom of 9th Street. But Reinfeld said they don't believe that the two deaths were connected in any way and that either death does not appear to be suspicious.
We respond to these calls every year, and they're not in the middle of winter all that often. That happens occasionally. That's the obvious thing people would think about. Boy, the middle of winter is going to be really hard for people living outside, living rough. But it happens all throughout the year. These two are close together in time, but there's nothing to indicate, again, anything suspicious or any foul play or either of them. If there was, then we would have to be looking at it a lot differently. But we're awaiting at this point information from the coroner to determine what happened here, and we'll go from there.
Now, that's a quick look at the three top stories on this Thursday morning. Don't forget, we'll have a complete newscast for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock with Grant Olson in the anchor chair and Eric Grandstrom handling sports. We're going to take a 2-minute break, come right back. We'll take one more tour with the cameras around the valley and wrap it up with the weather forecast. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Thursday morning edition on the NCW Life channel.
Collins Fashions is now almost open. Following safety guidelines, call ahead for personal shopping. There's nothing like a new pair of sandals or outfit to lift your spirits. Tommy Bahama says fun in a stylish way. Mother of the bride or groom, special celebrations, Collins has a beautiful variety of dresses for all occasions. Need a little something to make you smile? Brighton jewelry and handbags fit us all. Check out the Collins Facebook site or call ahead for personalized shopping and curbside service. Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guests for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
Need a break from reality? Central Washington Water has a showroom full of possibilities, with service and support to keep you soaking and giving you the absolute best ownership experience. Free flow plug and go spas for as little as $45 a month. There's a hot tub for everyone at Central Washington Water. Shop screen to screen, in store, or a backyard consultation with one of our wellness team members. Central Washington Water, your water experts.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCW Life magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCW Life magazine right here on the NCW Life channel.
And we are back from Studio 17 here in downtown Wenatchee. The sun's been up since about 5:17 this morning. It continues to climb in the sky. We thought we'd take one more tour around the valley with our Valley View cameras, and there we are. The Wenatchee Valley proper. The Columbia River is running high and it's running cold. It always runs high and cold this time of the year, but I noticed that they have a number of spill gates. Last time I drove by Rock Island Dam a couple of days ago, I noticed they had about 5 or 6 of the spill gates wide open to relieve some of the pressure as they continue to see significant snow melt up in the British Columbia area. And of course, they've also had some rain in some pockets. So all the area rivers and streams are running high. Don't anticipate any flooding. Looks like they're a little worried about the Okanagan River near Tenasket going over its banks. That looks like it's going to be okay. And the same deal with the Stehekin River up at the Stehekin at the very top of Lake Chelan. But it looks like they're going to avoid any significant flooding, and that's good news. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley proper. Camera number 2, if I remember correctly, is the Appalachians camera overlooking beautiful Kashmir. And by golly, I'm correct. Very light traffic. I noticed traffic is starting to pick up a little bit. It has really over the last 2 or 3 weeks, but the first, 10 days or 2 weeks of the stay home, stay healthy order, just the traffic went down to almost nothing. But speeding tickets went up because most people were treating it like it was a giant raceway since nobody was out on the road. And you can see the Appalachians camera shaking just a little bit, and the wind is still going to be a concern today. We'll talk about that in just a couple minutes. Camera 3 is, I believe, Billy Goat. Is that right, Megan? It's Billy Goat. Now, about an hour ago when we did this, of course, the sky was all egg yolk yellow because the sun was just starting to creep up, and now it's more of a cobalt blue as we look out over a big swath of the Okanagan Valley there. It's Pateros down there. Can't see Bridgeport, of course, is tucked behind that ridge there. Brewster within your view. That is zoomed way back from the Billy Goat camera with the Alta Lake Golf Course and Park at the bottom of your screen. And finally, camera number 4. It's off to Valley High, zoomed in. Hi, Valley High, how are ya? Looks like pretty much all the snow in that area is gone. It has been for quite some time. Still a little bit of snow in the Mission Ridge area, but that's going to continue to melt away as we get warmer days and longer days. Let's take a quick look at the weekend because it's looking good for Memorial Day. We've been showing this slide before. National Weather Service is modifying it a little bit. Again, the only chance of inclement weather for you outdoor enthusiasts if you're heading up into the mountains to do a little camping or recreating in the mountains and especially on the east slope of the Cascades and to the north of us, say up in the Medhow Valley and in the Omak-Okanagan area. You can still get a spotty mountain shower. For the vast majority of us here in the Wenatchee Valley, we're looking pretty dry indeed. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that forecast one more time. And the story is the wind. Going to be breezy again today. We're talking northwest wind about 16 to 25 miles an hour. Pretty consistent with the occasional gust at 35 miles an hour. Now, yesterday, we did have at one time, late in the afternoon, a gust of Pangborn at 52 miles an hour. Not going to be that windy today, but still windy. Breezy tonight. Overnight low of about 44. Northwest wind about 20 miles an hour tonight. Still a little bit of wind on Friday. We'll be at right around 20 miles an hour with the wind most of the day Friday. It will eventually diminish on Friday night, thank goodness. And then we're in for a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. I hope you get 3 days off and hope you get outside to enjoy because Saturday looks beautiful. No wind. Just lots of sunshine at a high of 74. It's going to be cloudy but dry on Sunday. You'll notice the warming trend, 77 on Sunday, near 80 on Monday, Memorial Day, under partly cloudy skies, and then lots of sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll be up near 80. We have not hit 80 degrees yet this spring. It's been cool. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.